Hi, welcome or welcome back. Welcome back. Doo-doo. I'm dropping in today for the Newbie in Review to share with you I Am America series, Women's History Month. So, International Women's History Month. So, in my first video, I did a video on women in justice. And so I highlighted some of our United States uh, female justices. I only highlighted two because I couldn't find the other books. But I guess in a future video, I think I have books on four of them. I was only able to find two. And so in a future video, we'll go down a rabbit hole on that. But today, I come to you with a little something that I've been wanting to put together and just trying to see how I will give the story of these women. So these women right here are considered to be the first in the United States. Now, I'm not saying the first in the world or globally. I'm saying the first here in the United States. And I think that's important because the name of this series is I Am America. And so these women I would love to highlight for Women's History Month and, give you a little bit information on why I deem them important to me. So the first person I would like to highlight, and I'm quite sure you've seen this book a few times on this channel if you're a regular follower, is Harriet Tubman. This is Combee. This is the story of Harriet Tubman's role in the United States Civil War. And I consider her to be an important figure in women's history is because she how can I say, she managed to uh, go about a mission of liberating African slaves. And so I deemed her important because at that time, where she's taken several trips back and forth from the south to the north, she definitely risked her life. And so in the process of her wanting to get freedoms for slaves, she also signed on to be a what we call a spy in the Civil War in those efforts. And so, her trip back and forth the Combee River, this is the story of that. And I recommend this book. I have not read it yet, but I do recommend it. This is on my 25 of 2025. So my goal is to get to this before December of this year. So when I do, I would definitely follow up with a book review. But yes, Harriet Tubman. The second person I want to highlight is a figure that I don't know. She's popular to me, but she is probably one of our most prolific writers on the subject of lynching. She started writing. She was originally a teacher, and she started writing about lynchings after three of her friends who were business owners were lynched. Her name is Ida B. Wells, and this book is A Sword Amongst Lions. She was the first African American woman to write in detail, gory details about, lynchings in the United States of America. It started from Memphis, Tennessee, and then when her life, when she was threatened to the point to where she couldn't live there anymore, she uprooted and came north to Chicago, which is a great city because, of course, I am from Chicago. But so Ida B. Wells, this is someone that I think everyone should know in the women's in the history of women's history excuse me in the spirit of women's history. Ida B. Wells. This particular book right here, I did buy it from this was discharged from a library. So I'm like, who's discharging great books like this? But that's okay. It found a loving home. The next one I wanted to highlight is this was a little, nah, I wouldn't say controversial. She was the first millionaire, but she was not the first African American woman to create hair products. But when you have a vision and you see past, just doing basic, the basics, you have to be a visionary. And she was a visionary. On her own ground, A Life and Times of Madam C.J.Walker, first millionaire, African American female millionaire, someone everyone should know. All right. So we're going to continue on this trend of first. This person, and I think if you are an American, you will know this person. Her name is Michelle Obama. She was the first African American female wife, first lady. I'm sorry. She was the first African American first lady in the United States. And so for that alone, when you have to be in the limelight, I think it is worth great recognition. But not only was she the first, she is an attorney. She has ran her own organizations, and right now, her and her husband, they are embarking on producing quality television through Netflix. And so, I think she's probably one of the women, I would say, in USA political politics that I admire the most, because she always speaks truth to power. Truth to power. Michelle Obama, and this is why I feel that, a lot of people, especially when you're not into reading like nonfiction books, sometimes we miss over learning about, little gems of history. I encourage everyone to find a memoir or a book or a biography or autobiography of someone that you are interested in, and just reading about them. I love reading about Michelle Obama. I've read this book while I listened to audio. I listen to a lot of my books on audio because I'm normally moving around while I'm, or doing something else while I'm listening to it. But great book. But yeah, she is the first, and I think you should know her. We're going to get on some more. I have two more first, but I want to highlight another first. And there are plenty of women who were the first of a lot of things. Like we have our first African American justice, female, Ketanji Brown, which I highlighted her in the first video. We had our first African American female vice president, Kamala Harris. I have not highlighted her in the video, but I would like to in the future. And so these are accomplishments that little brown girls, little black girls, they can look at and say, you know what? I can do that as well. And so that is the relevance and the importance of this video, that I hope that, if you catch this on your feed, that you are encouraged to explore, options that will encourage yourself or a young person to say, what, I can be the first to do this. So getting back to that, I am a lover of poetry. I am a lover of poetry, hands down, even the ones I don't understand. But I want to highlight these two people back to back because I am such a fan of both of their works. Okay, so I'm going to go in this order. This person that I'm going to highlight, she was born in the 1700s. She was brought here from West Africa and captured. And so her owners, they decided, you know what, she's intelligent enough. We think we can teach her XYZ. So they immersed her in Greek and Latin studies. So she was not only fluent in her native language, right, from West Africa, she was also fluent in English, Latin, and Greek. And so she became this prolific poet in the 1700s, publishing the first book from an African American female. Her name is Phillis Wheatley. And so, yeah, I mean, if you ever, in this video is not for that, but if you ever get a chance, look up some of her poetry and just read it. I mean, it's lyrical at its best. And so I thought I would highlight, she is the first African American female to have her book of poetry published here in these United States. Phillis Wheatley. Unfortunately, she died young. I think she was like in her 30s when she passed away from childbirth. And so, yeah, I mean, I think she had contributed in her short life a lot of good readings, a lot of good poetry and writings behind for us to immerse ourselves in and fall in love with. So I encourage you to grab one of her poetry books and just read it. They have a collection of of all of her poetry in one book, and I'm still looking for it. Can't find it, but if you find it, can you put it in my feed? And so she was a profound poet, and I love me some Phillis Wheatley. I'm thinking. I think I heard buzz of someone doing a biopic on her life. I don't know how true it is, but we'll see. We'll see in the future. This next person, I know you've heard me talk about her a few times on my channel. I keep this book of poetry. She has two. I keep her book of poetry by me on a regular basis when I want to quote stuff, when I want to, just randomly. And she was the youngest. African American female to give an inaugural poem. Okay, she was the first, and she was the youngest. And so I want to share with you Amanda Gorman, Call Us What We Carry. Beautiful book of poetry. She has also the inaugural poem, which has sparked a lot of controversy amongst democracy and freedom. I understand that she's on the book ban. I don't understand why you would want to put someone on the book ban for speaking their truth, right? I mean, we have one party that states that they don't want to censor speech, but they want to censor certain speech. But I encourage you to read her book of poems. She has two. I understand that she's possibly coming out with a third book. I hope so. I hope the rumor mill is true, because her writing itself is when you're talking about subjects of freedom and democracy and self-love, those are timeless timelines, writing lines. So yeah, I encourage everyone to grab her book, whether it's at your local library or however you get books. Yeah, Call Us What We Carry. Amanda Gorman. And so this is going to tie this segment of I Am America Women's History. And so I hope that I brought you some good recommendations. A lot of times, and I'm going to be honest with you, if you are a regular follower of this channel, you will see for one, I use books that I have in my own personal collection. So I'm not going out to buy books for, to show. Although, in a while, I may pull books from my local library, just to highlight, some of my recommendations. But my goal here is to focus on cultivating a culture of, in a community of people, who would like to, read about various subjects and get immersed in all types of books. Not only, the poetry and the biographies and the other nonfictions, but in the other genres as well. So this is what I bring to you. And so I thank you for stopping by, and I hope you come back soon. If this is something that you like, please like, share, and subscribe, or subscribe, like, and share. Well, just do all three, because if you do all three, I know you'll be back to see me soon. Until then, have a good day, people, wherever you are in the world. Bye bye.